So welcome to this Peace During a Pandemic group community call with myself and the lovely Nadine in red there. Is it red, Nadine?
It's red.
It's red, wonderful. So just a bit of housekeeping first. If you're not familiar with Zoom, you have come onto the line muted so that we have a quiet entrance for people coming in late, etc. If you could keep your line on mute, and then when you want to talk, unmute yourself. If you're not able to, just wave and we'll see if we can do it ourselves. You're also welcome to not unmute at all. You're welcome to not have your video on if you don't want to be visible in your pajamas or however you are. And there are two ways you can see people. You can either have the speaker view. So if you go to the top right on the desktop version, you'll see you've got the option of speaker view where you'll just be seeing my face right now, or gallery view, which is much more appealing, which is where you can see everybody's face at once. So feel free to use whichever setting you want there. I think that's all to say housekeeping wise. Anyone have any questions about Zoom and the way that we're connecting like this?
I can't get gallery.
You can't get gallery. Are you on the desktop or a phone or?
I'm on my laptop, my lovely.
If you're on your laptop, if you go to the top right, do you see it's got like an enter full screen in the top right and then a speaker view gallery view option at the top right?
No.
Okay, well you'll just have to see.
Oh, I'll just have to look at you, Karina, that's fine.
Thanks. And it will be whoever's speaking, so right now they'll be seeing your screen, Penny. So. Oh,
okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh dear.
You haven't got video on at the moment. So
oh, good.
That's your name.
Okay.
And if you do,
I'll unmute.
Thank you. And if you do have questions at any point, please feel free to write them in the chat, and then whichever one of us, if it's me or Nadine who's busy talking at that point, then the other one can catch any questions in the chat box. So why are we doing this? We did this on Monday as well. So I'm Karina Gordon-Barnes. I'm in Cambridge, England. I am currently 33 weeks pregnant, so I'm just going to have to do the obligatory bump shot. So this is one of my kind of aspects I'm bringing as we look at the coronavirus situation. For me personally, what it's going to be like to give birth and also to have a newborn baby in the state of the situation as it is now. I'm a coach, I'm a facilitator of the work. I work with people one-to-one and in groups around stress and conflict, and just really wanted to share this with Nadine and with you all, to bring us together as a community looking at our thoughts around this unprecedented situation. So that's me. Over to you, Nadine.
Yes, so hi everybody. I'm Nadine Ferris-France and I'm in Dublin in Ireland. Like Karina was saying, we happened to be doing some work together a couple of times, and last week we just started naturally just doing the work on some of our fears around coronavirus. And when we finished our own inquiry, we just thought, what better way than to just continue doing this work by opening this up and seeing who else wanted to do this work with us. Like you, I mean, I've been working with clients all week and working with my own mind all week as I'm watching the different thoughts as we move day by day and things change and what you think is going to happen the next day doesn't. Just watching my thoughts and questioning my thoughts. I'm also a facilitator in the work, like Karina, working with clients and doing workshops. And I'm also been working in global health for many years, the last 20 years, and until now it's interesting because most people used to say to me, what the hell, what is global health? And suddenly everybody understands what global health is. So really happy that you're all here and delighted to be doing this work this evening.
Nadine, would you take us into a meditation to start our time together? Thank you.
So just an invitation, everybody, to just put everything out of your hands, put everything down and just relax where you are. And if you're comfortable, just to gently close your eyes. And for some of us, it might be the only time that we give ourselves this space to just relax in the day that we have. So just noticing your feet on the floor, noticing the support of the floor, and noticing the surface that's holding your body and the support of that. And just checking in with your body, just noticing any spaces or places where there's tension or stiffness, and if there is, even just giving your body a little move. And bringing your attention to your breath. Just noticing the in and the out of your breath. The breath that keeps coming. And just taking a big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And another in through your nose and out. And one more. All crisis is an invitation for us to meet ourselves and each other in a much deeper way, to slow down and to remember what's truly important to us, to our addiction to external distractions, and to touch life with more tenderness and curiosity. And that's a quote from Jeff Foster that I found just this week. So welcome, everybody.
We have two screens now of participants, certainly from my view. So if you're waving and one of us doesn't see it, maybe that you're on the next page as we see it. So we'll try and toggle back and forth and catch any waving that happens. So we're going to begin by collecting the thoughts that we as a community are having at the moment around coronavirus. And the invitation is in the chat box to type your responses to end this sentence that I'm going to say in a moment. If you don't want to type, then feel free just to write in your own home, just on a piece of paper. But if you type into the chat, then we can see what you write, and then we're going to come to a few of you to hear them out loud. So here's the prompt, and I'll write this also in the chat box so you can have it there. And don't worry if your camera doesn't work, not a problem at all. So coronavirus is spreading, and that means that. Coronavirus is spreading, and that means that. And however you would finish that, just type it in the chat box. Yeah, and the invitation is really to capture the stressful thoughts. There may be lots of benefits you're already seeing, and if for this exercise, if you just capture the ones that really cause pain, the ones where there's really stress, anxiety, worry, sadness, fear. And 1 more minute of typing. The thoughts may continue. 1 more minute of typing in. Okay, and feel free to keep typing, and let's also now come to hear a few of you. So if you would like to speak and for us to hear you, then what I'm going to invite you to do is to wave at the screen. We'll see you eventually, and when you come off mute, so just unmute your line. If you can't, then we can do that for you, and say your name, where in the world you are, and your top 3 stressful thoughts. Just do a little. Verena, let me unmute you. Okay.
All right. I have at least 1, maybe 2, and maybe I'm not so popular now. So I'm still not scared about this virus. So it's, for me, in my case, it's not the virus that will kill us all, but it's the news that goes around everywhere. And okay, I try to be short. When I'm on Facebook and I see posts of, yeah, the doctors, the doctors say, we are standing here, stay at home for us. So we are standing here for you, stay at home for us. And like something like that. And also, now we have to keep together, all of this. And now we have to care that not everybody gets infected. I become so actually aggressive when I read this.
So what's your thought about that news or that Facebook report?
People let themselves become believing something that is not there.
So people are overreacting, or people shouldn't panic, maybe something around that?
overacting like hell. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And Kate, you've raised your hand. Let me see if I can find you, or if Nadine, you find her first. Kate, I found you. Okay, here you are.
Hello.
Hi, where are you, and what are your
I'm
thoughts?
in High River, Alberta.
Can you say that
Canada.
again? Canada.
I am High River, Canada. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
I mean, it's very muffled.
Yeah, let me just see something. I'm on a Bluetooth, so I'm gonna
Off.
and
Hold on a second. Just a sec.
That's much clearer.
it is?
Oh, it was
Okay.
for a moment.
Okay, is it still clear? I'm just gonna talk a second, and is it clear? It sounds not.
Try for it. We can hear your thoughts.
Okay. People will forget how to think and learn only to believe. Some of these people, so the first thought is there will be millions of conspiracy theorists out there. The second thought is the one, people will forget how to think and learn only how to believe. Some of these people are my friends. I will have to drop them. They will drop me. They will badmouth me.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's lovely to see you as well.
Mm-hmm. And Daniela has her hand up there. I've just unmuted her.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks. I have 3 one-liners. The first one is me or one of my loved ones will die. The second one is in 24 hours I can become very sick or ill and on the IC. And the last one is doctors will have to choose between life and death. I mean the sick ones to choose between them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And we have at least one healthcare professional on the line today, so they may be here in the room. Thank you.
And there we have Ellie. I'm just going to unmute you, Ellie. Oops.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Hi. You got me. I guess I'm slightly opposite to Verena, who spoke earlier, because my thought at the moment is that we all have a responsibility. We need to make changes, and my worry is that some people are perhaps choosing not to make those changes.
Thank you. Isn't the mind beautiful? People are overreacting, people are underreacting. Yeah. Thank you. And Anne?
One of the thoughts for me is I won't handle my fear, that my fear will actually make me unwell. Mm-hmm. Another one is that I can't see my family. And the third one is my partner is high risk, so he's in danger.
Yeah, and if you don't have your video on, so you can't do this, then feel free to, you can raise your hand. I don't actually know how to do that. Nadine, can you explain how to raise your hand? Or
yeah, well, you can just put it in the chat box down at the bottom and we'll find you.
That's also a good option.
Or it's in the participant list. If you click participant list, then at the bottom there's an option to raise hand.
Thank you. Perfect. Anyone else wish to? Yeah, Sarah.
One of my thoughts was people aren't taking it seriously enough.
Yeah.
I will infect others. Right now I have a horrible cold. So it's been really, really interesting. I will infect others. There won't be enough medical resources. My parents will die.
Thank you. Anyone else want to have your voice heard?
Rebecca, there you go, unmuted.
Yeah, hi. My kids will lose out on so much. Life on the other side will be a wasteland. It will last way longer than we're prepared to think.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sinead?
I just guess my thought is I was about to have an exhibition, should be opening tomorrow night, so that's been cancelled, and it just feels like no one's going to want to buy any painting. It's just, you know, it's so down on the list of priorities, so my income will reduce as a result.
Thank you. And Maricela?
One of my stressful thoughts is that maybe I'm not taking it seriously enough. That I'm thinking so positively that, oh, you know, I've got to, you know, and I really am not really stressed. I'm just doing what I need to do, but maybe I'm not taking it seriously enough. And then the other thought that came up today is if my husband loses his job because the business can't, you know, function this way, that would be devastating financially.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Nadine.
Okay, so just for anybody who may not be so familiar with the work of Byron Katie, what we're going to do is we're going to move into questioning our thoughts. We're going to move into a session of inquiry, and what we're going to do, I'm just sharing the screen with you here, is we're going to, as a group, we're going to ask these questions. We're going to work with one of those thoughts, and we're going to ask these 4 questions. So everybody will get a chance to answer, either some of us out loud and some of us just where you are internally. And these questions look like this. So is it true? The first question. Second question, can you absolutely know that it's true? Third question, how do you react? What happens when you're believing that thought? And then the fourth question, who or what would you be without the thought? And when we've inquired and questioned, asked those 4 questions and answered, we'll move to turnarounds, which is a way of turning thoughts around so we get to see things in a different perspective. So nothing to do. If you are new to the work, don't worry about trying to grasp it or trying to understand. Just simply follow along and answer the questions. And Karina's going to guide us through that.
So the thought that I would love us to work together, to inquire into together, is this: people I love will suffer. And for you, this might be, you know, people have mentioned parents or partners who are at risk. People, maybe if you are in the healthcare profession, maybe you're thinking of your patients or people who are vulnerable in your community. Maybe some of you, people I love will suffer. It was around your children missing out, or people missing out on your children. So just take a moment to find this belief for you. If you've even had just a spark of, even just for a couple of seconds, if you've had the thought that people you love will suffer. And I'm going to ask the questions of the work. And if you would like your voice to be part of this popcorn exercise together, then you can bring your line off mute. We probably don't want more than about 10 or so lines off mute, just so that it doesn't get too overwhelming. So absolutely fine for you to listen and speak out loud without your microphone on. That's also, you're participating just the same. We may need to pop a few mics off if it just gets a bit too loud, because there are 44 of us here. So holding in your mind this thought, people I love will suffer. See if you can anchor in a specific moment when you've believed this thought. People I love will suffer. And I'm going to ask this question and really invite you to wait until you either find a yes or a no. There's going to be temptation to maybe talk around or explain, or just wait until you find either a yes or a no. So with this coronavirus situation, people you love will suffer. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then question 2, can you absolutely know that this is a truth, this is true? People you love will suffer.
Yes.
No.
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 Yes.
No.
So we start here, these first few questions, we're testing the truth of a belief that occurs in our mind, and then whether we found it to be true or not, bringing the focus fully on yourself and how do you react, what happens inside of you when you believe that people you love will suffer.
Panic.
Go into rescuer mode.
Guilt.
Fear.
Anxious.
Sad.
Feel devastated for them.
Pain in stomach.
I feel breathless with anxiety.
Worry.
Feel old. I feel helpless.
I feel heavy and
Terrified of the future.
I'm all the time. Sorry.
I feel I'm doing something wrong or have done something wrong.
I'm all the time checking my phone if I have had a message of my family.
I distance myself.
Heart beating strongly.
Guilt for the things that I maybe could do but maybe can't do.
I try to be overly positive, and I don't really listen to their fears. I just try to give them, you know, positive ways to look at things.
I distance myself.
I feel overly privileged and too lucky, and I feel guilty.
Any specific images which arise when you believe people I love will die, will suffer, sorry, people I love will suffer?
Image in my head is that the suffering turns to death, and then I'm already like grieving that loss.
I have this quite specific, it's like a sort of Martian wasteland kind of image that's been going on for me over the last day, of later, you know, after, like zombies walking around. It's that kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I see a friend of mine getting progressively depressed in self-isolation. And I feel really sad watching that in my head.
Yeah, I see my mother, who's living independently at 91, not, you know, losing the plot from not getting out and meeting people and going into decline and having to be put into a nursing home or something because she can't look after herself anymore.
I see a world without my mum and dad, and I feel lost and sad.
I also see the image of a loved one being sent away from the hospital even though they need help.
Yeah, just notice.
I see my son exhausted and not able to spend time with his family. He's a doctor in a big hospital and they're overwhelmed.
Yeah, and notice whatever image comes with this thought, people I love will suffer. Notice when you watch those images, what then happens in your body.
I feel exhausted, tired and heavy.
Feels like a pit in my stomach, and I can feel a tightening in my throat and contraction in my chest.
I feel very unfocused and anxious in my stomach.
I feel like there's a boulder on my chest and my shoulders are really tight.
My heart is just racing.
I notice I stop breathing and I'm just kind of frozen and heavy.
And notice if there's any habit, addiction, substance that you reach for or that you get lost in when you believe people I love will suffer.
Food, sugar, baking.
my Facebook app.
I've become obsessed with the news.
Checking my phone over and over again.
I check into all the different teachers, Byron Katie, Kangaji, whoever I can, to tell me that it's okay. It's going to be okay. Obsessively.
Yeah, and whatever you reach for or lose yourself in, what does that then cost you when you believe people I love will suffer?
Disconnect with the present and the gift of the present.
I disconnect from the one that I love because I'm so desperately trying to make it better or make it okay.
I lose out on precious moments where I could calm myself or just have some peace away from it.
I lose the perspective that he's completely capable and doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you fail to notice? What do you fail to see when you believe people I love will suffer?
That they aren't suffering at the moment.
I fail to see their strength, and that they've lived through so many other things that have made them strong.
I fail to see how much I'm suffering.
That you forget to enjoy them in this moment that we have with them at the moment, because you're so worried about what might happen or what's coming, and actually we should just make the most of the time that we have with them right now.
I fail to see all the ways that their suffering can be eased if they are suffering.
I fail to see that if she got the coronavirus and died quickly, that it would be the best gift that she would ever want.
So just imagining now, we've looked at the truth of this statement, people I love will suffer. We've looked at the cost of believing it, the impact of believing it. And then just imagining it weren't possible to believe this thought. Weren't possible to label the future with this thought, people I love will suffer. What do you imagine it would be like? Who would you be without that thought?
I would be breathing easy.
I'd probably be a lot more present and effective.
Taking care of this one.
In a weird way, it's the opposite. It's something about if I didn't have that thought, then I'd be blasé and I'd be kind of heartless.
And just notice, does the thought make you more heartful or less able to access your heart? Because I see that's the reason we keep it, right? It's like to be compassionate, to be loving, we need to keep people I love or suffer to somehow motivate something. And so my question is, does it work? Does it make me more loving, compassionate, effective?
I feel like without the thought, me reaching out to family or friends is out of like joy and connection and less out of like fear and worry.
Yeah, I could really think about what I can do for people. Much more open-minded and creative in possibilities.
Without the thought, I feel more trusting in the universe. And I notice that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know that he's going to suffer. I don't know if this is going to happen. And so I relax and just feel more trust.
If no one I love will suffer, then it's kind of a cool adventure.
Yeah, like without the thought, there's just this kind of openness, and in that openness, I can start to feel curious. You know, it's not it's new. It's like don't know.
I would really stay in today, or even like right now, rather than my images, my fictional images of a future that hasn't happened yet.
Yes, it's very freeing to leave it behind.
I realize that fewer people come into the hospital, so maybe he's got less work to do. That feels much better, lighter.
Yeah, well, let's go to that turnaround. So Celia, you pointed us to it there. So the original thought is people I love will suffer. So we turn that to the opposite. People I love won't suffer. So you found one evidence there that it could ease the person you're thinking of, their work. What other specific examples do people have that people you love won't suffer?
Well, I was thinking if my mother did get it, I had said this to her last week, there's pain relief that they can give her for the coronavirus. So maybe she would have eased into death painlessly, so she mightn't suffer at all. You know?
I've seen amazing things happen this week. I did the first call on Monday and I was in a complete state of frozen anxiety. And then now I've shifted that to seeing the amazing initiatives that have happened all over the UK to support people. So I went and see two neighbours who are in lockdown, in elderly neighbours, and I am a doctor who are in lockdown in my street, and I've now started to bring them food and stuff like that. Every time I go out, I text them and I say, you know, do you need anything? And so I did bring them stuff, and it's sort of the idea that this is available to other people. I'm a doula, and one of the things I've started writing is a blog about support, managing your postpartum in the pandemic, and I'm actually realizing as I write this blog that there's more stuff available now than there was last week, because there are groups on Facebook. There's this COVID UK, I can't remember what it's called now, so some kind of national page, and then lots and lots and lots of local groups that have already exploded all over Facebook that were there last week. And so one of my pregnant clients this week said she needed this medicine. I saw it on one of the group, a texter saying, if nobody comes forward, I will get it for you. But somebody did. You know, last week that wouldn't have been possible. It's when I started paying attention to the good that's already been brought by this, it's suddenly like it's starting to blow my mind that it's like they say the really crisis bring the best in people. And my husband likened it to when there was wartime, when in wartime people have to like rally around and come together. And it just made me feel very hopeful.
Yeah, and what I hear is that those examples are really specific. This isn't a general, we're not trying to make ourselves feel better. Oh, people won't suffer. It's like, here's a specific reason why this person won't suffer as much because of this community group.
Yeah.
Because of this person looking out for them. Thank you.
My parents won't suffer. I visited them today. I stood in the garden, 5 meters away from them, and my mom said that they're extremely peaceful. My dad is making her cup of tea, and it seems that they're actually getting on in a peaceful way, a lot more than they had been. So I don't see them suffering in this moment.
Can I ask Josh to mute himself, please?
I can do that, thanks. What's the spot in that? People you love won't suffer.
I have people who have been suffering before this happened, who are now kind of in a state of awe, which they appreciate.
I was worrying about the impact on my daughter, so not being at school and suffering from the perspective of her education. But as far as a turnaround goes, she's going to benefit from a huge amount of time with me and the rest of her siblings and family, and we can do all sorts of exciting home schooling that otherwise we just wouldn't necessarily have, such a great opportunity for.
You bring those specific people you were thinking of suffering to mind. Any other specific ways in which they won't suffer, or they'll even suffer less, they'll even suffer less because of this situation?
My daughter's doing her junior cert, so she won't have to do her practicals and her orals. And she was so chilled about it today. It was just unbelievable. She was like, that's fine. So no suffering there.
I think about my sister who has asthma, and so she's staying in for her own health, but she just recently shared a post how it's like boosting her gratitude for her kids and like time at home, and like she just found such massive gratitude in having to stay home all the time. So that was really fantastic.
People you love won't suffer.
Such a relief with the feeling of just being, no doing. It's lovely.
Yeah, my mum has had a stem cell transplant, so she has zero immunity. She will suffer less potentially because of this, because nobody is going near her, so she's not going to catch those little bugs that could have actually caused really big damage to her, because no bugs are going to come near her because she's socially isolated.
What comes up in my mind is that they will not suffer as I imagine them in my mind to suffer. I just cannot know how they will experience.
Mm.
Right, it won't be that exact image. That movie is not going to be exactly replicated.
Exactly.
Yeah, and keep looking with this. And if you find more examples, do feel free to type them in. Another turnaround. Anyone see another turnaround to people I love will suffer?
That is better.
My mind that I don't love will suffer.
Where'd you go with that one? And can we expand that to my mind will suffer or I will suffer when I believe this thought?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone see truth in that? That it's you that's suffering, it's me that's suffering as a result of these thoughts.
That really resonates with me. This wasn't a thought that I had spent a lot of time on. And when I was like imagining it, I felt so much more fear and anxiety in the moment of imagining it than any time before this call. And for me, it's just so clear that that's my mind is making me suffer. Those images are making me suffer.
Anyone else see how true it is that you are suffering, that you will suffer from believing these thoughts? I see that it could be days or weeks that I suffer believing something that actually could happen in a very brief period of time. My suffering could be very long-lived.
And that's where I was going. I will suffer when I replay those images, that movie, over and over and over again. And it gets worse every time.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I will suffer when I go to Facebook and keep trawling the phone and swiping left to see the latest news. I will suffer.
Yeah, what this turnaround to the self, for those of you who are less familiar, it's like we're putting this thought on other people. We're thinking they're going to suffer. People are going to suffer who I love. And it's about seeing, is this in any way a mirror for what may be happening inside of me? So actually I'm seeing, when I believe these thoughts, I will suffer.
Mine, I think, is around I will suffer way down the line if I look back and realize I didn't make the most of it now, or if I wasn't the person that I would want to look at myself in the mirror to be. I'll suffer in, whatever, years time, 6 months time, 3 years time.
Yeah, if I spend all that time believing my fearful thoughts, it may well prevent me from being who I would be proud
So I
to be.
suppose it's my version of regrets that later on I would suffer potentially to think, oh, you shouldn't have spent so much time. Like I'll suffer in the future because I spent too much time worrying about it now.
Any other turnaround you see, Nadine, before we move?
No, but I'm just laughing. I've just come to me that, when I'm believing the thought that they will suffer, I'm fine. I'm suffering. Sorry, I'm suffering, and they're absolutely fine, happy. In fact, I've just caught that in my own, with my parents, for instance, today. So it's clear that I'm the one that's suffering.
Yeah, even if I saw my mum yesterday and I saw she was suffering, I don't know that today she is, right in this moment, if I'm not looking at her, but I'm suffering remembering yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm now thinking they will, what's the opposite of suffer? Like the extreme opposite.
Yeah,
flourish. They'll flourish.
They'll flourish. I love it. Yeah. So which is just, it's like just trying it on, like all these turnarounds. It's like, is that a possibility? Could they actually flourish? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I see my parents-in-law spending all that extra time together and they're talking about baking their own bread. I mean, they haven't baked their own bread probably for 50 years and they're getting in the flour and kind of like hunkering down. I see them flourishing in that.
So I have a question. I've got quite a few people in mind who I can work that through with really well. And I've got this one person in mind where I keep getting stuck and I can't move beyond, you're going to suffer. And I can't believe the turnaround.
Yeah, and where I might want to go with that is the belief is that they shouldn't suffer.
Mm.
And to open to if there's any way in which they should, that it's okay, that resistance to them suffering is what I would want to look at, and what it does to me when I believe that they shouldn't suffer. And also I go to, and who knows how they might flourish. Like, it hasn't happened yet, right? Like tomorrow hasn't happened, or whatever it is that I'm thinking they're it hasn't happened. So could it be true that they'll flourish even if the thing I think is going to happen is going to happen? Like Nadine said, could I be curious? Could I wait and I see? Any other examples? My loved ones will flourish. The people you're thinking of, who you had the thought they're going to suffer, any evidence they will flourish?
Yeah, I think my son and his wife, their children are now home from school, and I know it's only day one, but they've had a great time. They've been doing maths and English and colouring and all sitting together. And I think family life, for the people who are made to stay at home with their children, could just come on leaps and bounds, and people will do things that they never thought of doing with their kids. And I think that could be good.
Like they will flourish. I was on the broadcast with Katie yesterday, last evening, and somebody mentioned, it's like we'll have lots of time to stay at home and do the work. And in my experience, it's like I flourish when I'm doing the work, and the people, that's what I experience from people who do the work. So, more time and space.
Yeah, and I see people, if I'm imagining someone, let's say I'm imagining my mum going into hospital having caught something, or just seeing how deeply caring the healthcare professionals are in the hospital, and just seeing her flourish in their care, to feel that nurture and that care and that being looked after in hardest times. Just to wonder for myself, could there be a flourishing in some sense in that being cared for feeling?
I noticed that for my husband, who's now working at home, and my son who's working at home, it just feels wonderful kind of having them close. It's very nourishing. My situation was about my husband possibly losing his job, and so what a great place to be is in this nourishing environment. And so I see today at lunch him talking about both of them just kind of recommitting to the work and feeling the preciousness of it. And so they're flourishing in their commitment to their work and in this kind of more nourishing environment. And my other kids who live far away, I see them flourishing by having the opportunity to evaluate what's really important to them and the value of simple things. And even if they don't do the work, I think it's really great that they have some time to pause, to take things a little bit more slowly.
Okay, Nadine.
So thank you. inquirers, and let's just keep going. Let's take another thought. In the go around just before, and from what everybody shared in the chat, I heard, I heard that a number of us had that thought that people are not taking it seriously. So just inviting everybody, look at where you are, your own country, your own situation, your own family, friends, your view from your house as you look onto the street, see online. Just locate yourself and see if you can get in touch with that thought that people are not taking it seriously. So people are not taking it seriously. So is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
So just go to your situation again, whatever that image is, whatever you've got in your mind. And you absolutely know for sure that people are not taking it seriously.
No.
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 So just notice, how do you react? What happens when you're believing that thought that people are not taking it seriously?
Get all cross and impatient.
Angry and sad.
Demanding.
Irritated.
Panicked.
Feel confused. Like I don't understand what's happening in their minds.
Scared.
I feel really judgmental, and I feel like there's a real separation. It's like I'm right and they are wrong. And I'm just like,
I was gonna say I feel angry and super judgmental.
It becomes very much them and us. They are like a different species to me and all the good ones.
Feel like rejecting them and their expression.
I see them as arrogant and out of touch, and I judge them as having this unwarranted invincibility, and I get really irritated and annoyed, angry, resentful.
They seem dangerous, like a threat.
yeah. Just notice how you treat them when you're believing that thought that they're not taking it seriously.
Criticizing and looking down on them.
I think he's ignorant and reckless and could be putting my mother-in-law in danger.
I shut down towards her, and I can feel that I pull away internally. I see her as other, and I talk about her and about how off it is. I gossip.
I start thinking in categories like friend and enemy.
I give her dirty looks, and my body completely contracts and withdraws.
I think about what it's going to be like to hear that she's dead.
I want to send her what other countries are having to enforce because of people like her who didn't act fast enough at the beginning.
I get defensive and prove how I'm right. So I yell at him. Defensive, justifying.
I get worried that she's going to ask me to put my own safety at risk to save her bacon.
It really gives me an identity of superiority. I'm in the right camp.
And then just notice what it costs you in this time, in these days. Notice what it costs you when you're believing that thought that people aren't taking it seriously.
Peace.
Peace.
It costs me connection with those people. It costs me feeling we've got similarities, we're the same.
It costs me the open mind to have a open and honest conversation so I can better understand why they think the way that they think, and it creates an opportunity for me to share my thoughts and opinions as opposed to shutting them out and just not even giving them a chance.
Right, and not sharing anything. Right.
That's a really good point, because you miss out, not being curious, you then miss out on the opportunity to learn from somebody else, their experiences. You don't know what you're missing.
It costs me peace. I'm fighting and blaming.
Yeah.
And arguing and defending.
Yeah, I noticed that I have anger that's very quick to come to the surface, and I just place it on them, just like that. It's right there, ready to go on somebody, and it's going to go on them. So just really, really gently, just noticing. Look at those people. Look at these people that you've seen in your life, wherever you've seen them. Just look at them again, just for a second, without that thought that they're not taking it seriously. Who would you be, or what would you be in that moment without that thought?
I'd be so much more curious.
I'd be taking it as seriously as fit me, as felt right, and integrity for me. And I could then really clearly communicate that with them.
I lose my control, not control, but I lose my wish to control others and to control what are others thinking.
I could make really clear requests.
I notice that she's not interacting with me that way, that she is respecting what I want personally as far as proximity.
I just see another person trying to connect, and I'm not treating them like they're diseased, potentially.
Be able to follow guidance about how I respond to requests from within my own truth.
I notice I see a picture of, I'm looking at the image of kids playing on a street today, and I notice that without the thought, I'm free to go out on the street and actually, offer a game that is socially distant. Offer a game rather than just kind of worried and, anger from the window, pulling the curtain back. I'm free to play a game.
Yeah, and effective in that. If what I want is for people to be more physically distant, then I get to actually be effective at stating that or requesting that or suggesting that I can do something.
So people are not taking it seriously. So just flipping that right around. It's like people are taking it seriously. So just let that land with you. And then it's like, okay, they are taking it seriously. So what can you see? That's an example. And you can even start with those people, the ones you're talking about. And then move out from them. They are taking it seriously.
I remember that a few moments prior to this thought that she had wiped down all the seat and the table in front, the table in the airplane. And anytime she coughed away from me and into a tissue or her elbow. So she is taking it seriously.
They're doing the best that they can with the resources that they've got available to them.
When I made a request to my daughter to, they were playing football, to not touch the football and not touch each other's hands, she didn't argue. She agreed straight away.
Before the delivery men arrived, the company phoned to find out if we had symptoms and to let us know that the delivery men didn't.
It's funny, my mind is just so full of examples of people taking it so seriously. Conversations all day with different people, starting with a friend this morning, just totally obsessed and a whole conversation about everything to do with how to protect. People are taking it seriously.
She does seem to be talking to me more than usual, and that could be a sign that she's taking it seriously in a way that I don't fully understand.
And noticing people taking it more seriously when it personally is impacting them, when they've lost a contract or lost some work, or someone in their family is, when it hits home, people are taking it seriously.
At that point, she was still touching people and not touching her face and that type of thing. But she is taking it seriously. I can see that at that same time, she was also keeping up to date on the news, and she wasn't just turning a blind eye. She was reading at that time. And then I can see when I expand time, it did shift for her. At some point, she did. It shifted for her, and I can see where with the thought, I don't take that in. It's like I'm holding it against her from before, and I'm just noticing that it has shifted for her now.
Mm-hmm.
I really relate to that too. There's a part of it, I was thinking about Trump and how he's not taking it seriously. But I have seen the shift of I think he does take it a lot more seriously now, and opening up to how time is changing a lot of how people are taking it.
Yeah, it's I love that people are taking it seriously. I mean, our government have closed down the schools and the universities and the shops and the pubs in Ireland. I mean, they're taking it seriously. People are taking it seriously. And I just notice it takes some people a little bit longer. And I notice I don't know why. I don't know what that means, whether they're so fearful or not. I don't know. Looking at the turnaround to yourself. So people aren't taking it seriously. So to me, so I'm not taking it seriously. So just notice if there's any ways that feel right, that I'm not taking it seriously. Just come up for you.
I think in the moment when I shut someone out and I don't try to communicate with them, it's I'm clearly not taking it seriously enough to take the time to try to explain it.
Yeah, I see myself looking at those kids today. I'm not taking it seriously. I didn't go out and offer a game or bring out some hand sanitizer. I'm not taking it seriously. I just watched that.
Yeah, I was the one who said yes to the delivery man using our bathroom. I could have said no if I really was taking it seriously and didn't want him touching my surfaces or anything like that. I was the one who said yes. He asked.
I notice I feel very safe when I'm indoors in my own house, and I don't take it that seriously because we don't go in or out, so nobody else is around, and it's okay if I didn't wipe the tap this time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I notice I don't take it seriously in a good way as well, a positive way. I'm happily receiving these funny videos of people doing fun quarantine activities, and that's nice that I don't take it seriously and just being serious all the time.
I actually laughed crying today because of parents setting up, there was this one on Facebook about somebody, a mother, she was Spanish or French or something, ranting about having the kids at home. And I just started crying, laughing over it. I just thought it was so funny. So I'm obviously not taking it seriously either.
I'm not taking it seriously when I hug my friend or shake hands with somebody when you're not supposed to, and But it makes me laugh. There was a video circulating of Prince Charles doing the same with a commentary over the top, and it was a lot of fun, and it brings some light, some humour to things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just noticing the difference between, taking it seriously in terms of like infection control, and then, not taking it so seriously every minute of the day. Allowing myself to laugh and to, be joyful and be light at times. So invitation just to keep looking for these examples for yourself, and you can pop them in the chat, or just, keep finding them for yourself. And, just looking at this universe that we're in, and if it's a friendly universe, how could this coronavirus be a good thing? How could it be a good thing for you, a good thing for your loved ones and people around you, and a good thing for this planet? If you can allow your mind to stretch there, how could it be a good thing? What comes up for you?
Yeah, I was already feeling protective, like when this baby's out, I just want to cuddle him the whole time and not give him to anyone else. And now I've got this really good excuse to just hold on to him and not let anyone touch him for a while.
It's been amazing for the environment, people not driving, the lack of flights, and the bit that there's just so much opportunity now. If people can work remotely, work from home, using Zoom, all the technology that we've got. When people have lived this for 12, 18 months, then it really shows what the possibilities are, and gives the planet some time to heal.
And I even love in this moment, we're seeing what the possibilities are. I mean, just look at us right here, right now. This is a possibility. Yeah, what else? How is it a good thing, even for you personally?
I could hear the kids playing on the street today, the laughing, and you just don't hear it anymore. It was lovely. And the birds and the bees. I've seen bumblebees again. Haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
I have 2 weeks self-isolation because I just came back from Spain. So I'm forced to stay at home, which is amazing because I've been out on stress leave for 3 weeks in January, and I was just at a Buddhist retreat for 2 weeks in Spain. So it's just an absolute incredible gift to not do anything and self-care and do the work.
It's like a Vipassana retreat, extended, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. Anybody
It's amazing
else?
to see how the capacity we as humans and of all these different systems that have been put in place can shut down. It's almost like, what else could have shut everything down like this? And it feels like a push for us to be with ourselves in this time, and to slow down. And because we don't have that capacity, or so many of us don't have that capacity to work the way that we used to, and even interact with nature in a different way. Because so many things that used to be a distraction, even like making money and this type of thing, it feels like this push, I think it could actually be an incredible awakening for us to see, wow, we might not have forever here, and what is important. And it can really bring that inquiry in. It is for me, and I can see that it might even touch people who aren't currently in that way of being, which could be really powerful for the future of our planet.
Wow. Yeah, so well said. And I noticed, for me, I noticed that I do a lot of work with countries, poorer countries, developing world, and I noticed that it's often us and them, and how can we help them, or how can we be more connected, and this just feels so equal. It's like we are all in this. There is nothing in my memory of working in this like this that has brought people together, where you're now seeing scientists from China coming to help Italy, and I'm imagining already Italians going to help Zimbabwe, and Irish going to help Malawi, and South Africans coming to help the UK. It's just like all at the same time. Beautiful.
My son helped me to scrub and clean the whole house because I have a tumor on my lung and we didn't want the virus getting in. And to work with him in a team like that and have a teenage boy clean a house was miraculous. But I felt so connected to him and supported by him. And never in my life have I experienced that level of a demonstration of love for his mommy from a child, from a boy, like a teenage boy. He's so into his phone, but he put it down for 3 days and we scrubbed the whole house. It was just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Trudy. It's beautiful.
We're just coming towards the end of our time together for today. Let's just hear just one words that you're taking from today. When you're ready, just feel free to pop one thing you're taking, one word you're taking.
That it's okay to be happy in this moment.
Connected.
Open-minded.
Peace.
Present.
Curious.
Yeah, curious.
A friendly universe.
It doesn't have to be stressful.
Grateful. Inspired.
Excited.
And feel free to leave anything else in the chat. Just share a quote from Byron Katie. Peace doesn't require two people. It requires only one. It has to be you. The problem begins and ends there. And that's Byron Katie in the book Loving What Is, 4 Questions That Can Change Your Life.
Can you write down these words?
What I'll do is I'll put it on the Facebook,
okay,
the Facebook event. Yeah, thanks. Nadine, do you want 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Oh, I've got a frozen Nadine. Now she's moving. You're moving.
I'm moving.
You want to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yes, I do. If you can, something from Liz Gilbert the other day I saw on her Instagram and I loved it. Just to bring you to the present moment. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it goes like this. So you say out loud 5 things that you can see in this moment. So just everybody do it silently. Look at, say it out loud, but with your mics on. 5 things you can see in this moment. 4 things you can hear in this moment. 3 things that you can feel in this moment. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. And we're here now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Karina.
You're on mute.
Hello? Yeah.
Hi. Oh, Karina, not Verena.
Oh.
But thanks for stepping in there. So we will point you to a few places. So there is the One Belief at a Time worksheet. So what we did today, we took a 1 belief and we worked through the 4 questions and the turnarounds of the work. And the One Belief at a Time worksheet, I think, Nadine, are you going to put it in the Facebook
yeah.
group? A link to that so you can access that and work with other thoughts as they come. On that Facebook event as well is a place where you can connect with us. We both Nadine and I have our websites where you can connect with us also. So I'm at karinagordonbarnes.com, and Nadine?
I'm at nadineferrisfrance.com.
You can also phone the helpline of the work, the Do the Work helpline, and work with a facilitator on that line. We both have email lists, so both Nadine and I have email lists. If you want to join on our websites, you can hear about our other events that we may offer, or feel free to ask as well if you want us to offer anything else. Anything else you'd like to say about what's next, Nadine?
No, just thank you everybody for coming on, for showing up, for doing the work, and I love that the opportunity of Corona gave us this evening. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, friends.
Thank you so much for this time.
Yes, thank you all.
Bye, Sarah. Bye, guys.